Hello, everyone, and welcome to the SSR Grand Prix Classics Championship press conference for the Canadian Grand Prix. And today, with me, I have three of our drivers joining me. We have Dustin. Say hello, Dustin.
Hello.
Welcome. You were here last time as well. Your race has didn't go so well, unfortunately. Have you recovered from it?
I hope so. I have some new plans for Montreal and some new ways of practicing, so I hope it helps.
Very good. And this is, of course, your favorite track you mentioned last time. You must be very excited for this race.
I'm actually, well, it's not my favorite track, but it's one of my more favorite tracks because it's more like a karting track for me personally, so I should do better than Barcelona.
Okay, well, hopefully that works out well for you. Next to you is JJ. Hello, JJ.
Hi guys, how are you?
All good. Last race for you was also a little bit tough. Tell us what happened and how you feel about it now.
Well, the last race for me was a completely nightmare. I suffer some issues in my setup. I haven't seen it before the race, so I cannot change that parameters before the race. So I had the difference between one side of the car and the other. So the car was like floating every time and always in the brakes and every single turn. So it was a nightmare. I hope I hope that Silver can forgive me because it was not his fault. It was completely mine, and that's the reason why I retired the car
Yep.
before the things were getting higher and higher. So I apologize to everyone.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, last race, of course, was the incident. You got a 10-second penalty for that for this race. How do you feel about that penalty?
Well, I think it's fair because um, everyone has problems on their own, and it's not an excuse uh, to get in contact with other car and not give him enough space on that turn. So I think it's fair. I think it's what it is. So
All right. Thank you for that. And then we have Statue. Hello.
Hello.
Statue, you last time we had a press conference, you were resoundingly chosen as the favorite. Everybody agreed. How has that pressure maybe caused you to have that full start last race?
Um, unsure. I think I said that in the post-race interview that I don't feel like I was feeling super stressed, and I don't think that's necessarily what caused me to jumpstart because there were races where there was more stress, and I behaved myself correctly. Um, I actually funny thing, I looked at my recording of that race, um, and when I looked at the start, it turned out I generally launched the car by releasing the clutch, not bumping it into gear, as I know some people do. So but I also hold the brake, so I release the clutch and the brake at the same time when the lights go out, when everything goes right at least. Because what I did, I released the clutch too early, but I kept the brake on. But even with that, the car still moved. So
Okay.
I got something similar to Piastri, although maybe not as horrendous, because I got no launch after that because the clutch was already dropped. Uh, and it started kicking in from the auto clutch, so basically almost an anti-stall, just the game's version of it.
Okay. Well, got another chance to make it up in Canada. You looking forward to the race today?
Yeah, Canada. I don't think it's one of my best tracks, at least on race pace, because I find it difficult to push consistently there, but it's still fun. I would say is what I have to say about the track. And hot lapping is quite good, although again it's difficult to nail up because there's not that many high speed corners, but they're still tricky. sometimes I find tracks with lots of high-speed corners actually easier to nail consistently for me. Canada is quite tricky to do lap after lap or really nail a lap in quali. But when you do nail a lap, sometimes it feels really good.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much. That's the quick introductions of all our drivers today. Gonna start asking all of them questions at the same time. If you are in the chat and you have questions, feel free to ask them and they will be sprinkled throughout. Okay, so first, of course, Canada is a much different track. It's much more start-stop than Barcelona was. How does that change the approach for this race? Let's start with you, Statue.
I guess it's mostly just setup work. And actually, one thing I'm not sure about, but I'm possibly looking forward to is how less of a factor Dirty R might be. Because Barcelona was horrendous, but like then every second corner Barcelona is high speed, or at least high medium. With Canada, I think it shouldn't be that big of an issue, so maybe it could give some closer racing, where we don't need as much of a pace advantage. But then I think it gives you more potential as well, the track characteristic of lots of heavy braking zones and accelerations to potentially mess up your tires a bit. Less due to just load, but more to driver. Like it's easy to get wheel spin off of some corners. It's easier to lock up maybe sometimes because you're braking a lot. So there could actually be maybe not more tire wear, but also a bigger difference in tire wear between people. But that's mostly guesswork. I want to like put a little disclaimer next to that, next to that answer.
Interesting. What is your opinion, JJ?
Well, I think this track will allow us to get some more action in a better way because of the dirty air in Barcelona was very difficult to approach to another car in high speed corners. Or I think this track is better for that, but at the same time is challenging because the tight zones with the walls near to the track. It's difficult to manage when you are behind, very close to a car, near to the walls, and well, will be interesting.
Dustin?
Yeah, I think first off, everyone needs to survive the start because we are 18 or 19 drivers today and wards are close. So, for example, if the first driver makes a mistake, drives in a wall, potentially with 17, 18 drivers behind him, will crash as well. So that's a factor we need to look at. And also, like the others stated, the tires, because out of some corners, you tend to get more wheel spin. So maybe driving with one gear higher out of some corners will be better, but slower lap time. But the tires will thank you for it, basically. So this is very interesting. And also, it's hard to overtake Montreal, basically, except on the last big straight. But anywhere else, you can only overtake whenever someone does a mistake. So this will be very interesting to see.
Yeah, so I'm hearing a common trend of tire wear being very much a deciding factor. Of course, Barcelona also had very strong tire wear, but here it's more that mistakes can cost you more time than others around you. Interesting. So that's something we're gonna have to look out for. And otherwise, I do wonder, of course, these races are being streamed. We've just had Canada, the first race of the season. It was an extremely exciting race for me, and I think everybody that viewed it. There was a lot of action. My question to you, actually, all of you, real quick. Have you watched the last race, and what did you think of the racing that you saw in there that you probably didn't see while you were driving yourself? Let's start with Dustin.
Yeah, I think the racing was fantastic. Starting off with qualification, I think we had the tightest quali ever, or one off at least. And that showed itself through race because from top five, you didn't really know who was really gonna win it, even until the last lap when Randers and Dika were fighting each other to the finish line. So The racing was really good. Sure, here and there a little, yeah, things that cost some races, like it happened for me. But it turns out it was all netcode involved. So we really hope the netcode is gone now, because the driver that caused it will not race today or the rest of the championship. So yeah, we will see.
JJ?
As Dustin said, I think the racing was pretty good as always. I think that we have here, if not the top 5 of drivers in this sim, not in this community. I mean, the top 5 of this community, I think, will be probably in the top 10 globally. So we have a very, very high level, and I think everyone can enjoy a race a race from this community. So the racing was very, very good, and I hope this track allow us to get more action, and the people will enjoy it much better than in Barcelona. I think will be more interesting than there.
Interesting. And the statue?
Yeah, I think the previous race, like from a viewer's perspective, was, I think, quite entertaining. Lots of things happened. There were some good battles on track. Even if, as a driver, I would hope there would be a bit more, potentially as a viewer. But that's their tier. You can't always close up on the person if you have a little bit more pace. Yeah, and I think in general, maybe this race can be even better if their tier has less of an effect. But then I think potentially with Canada, as Dustin mentioned, you have the problem where there's really only 2 overtaking opportunities on the whole track, whereas on Barcelona, you maybe can sneak up a move like across the track somewhere. But no, I think the first race was really entertaining. Great commentary and stream as well, which helps the viewer experience a lot. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching Canada back as well. At least some parts of the stream, depending on how much time I have.
All right, it's great to hear, and thank you for the compliment. Really enjoy doing these streams. It's enjoying, like, watching the race alone is super enjoyable. So being able to cast it is a big bonus. Yeah, for Canada, what should we expect? What do you think the top 3 will look like? You don't have to give a definitive 1, 2, 3, but kind of talk us through what we should expect in there. Let's start with JJ.
Sorry, can you repeat, please?
Yeah, I asked for Canada. What should we expect the top 3 to look like? You don't have to give a definitive 1, 2, 3, but talk us through what we should expect.
I think that if you're asking me, and I understood it correctly, you're asking me for my top 3 for this race.
Yeah. Roughly,
Yeah,
you can hedge it a little bit, but give us a good idea.
So I think the top 3 for this race, talking about drivers, I think Dustin will be on this race ahead. Last time it was difficult for him, but I think he can perform much better than the last time. And of course, we have Dikra. Dikra last on the last seasons. I don't remember if it was the last time or the before last time. He did a very good race here, and also a statue, of course. I think he has a plus.
Yes, that I think that's roughly correct. Do you agree, Dustin?
Mostly yes. Obviously, Statue has the world record on this track, and in Barcelona, most drivers use this setup. So I think it would be very similar in Montreal as well. And I really hope to see myself on the podium once more, because, like we've seen, first race wasn't the best for me, and also last season wasn't best for me. So I said for myself, okay, I will change how I practice and concentrate more on getting back to the top. So that's my motivation for today, to be at least on the podium. And what I want is to win. But I'm not sure if I can do it, but I will try.
And statue?
I have some notes on the self taking, but that's a bit not what the question is. So I'll skip that. But on the time trial, I know like I have the world record, so I'm the favorite, you might think. But the thing, I know many people in this community just don't set really representative lap times on the boards. I'm just one of the faster guys that do. I don't think necessarily getting the world record means that much. And in terms of who I actually think will be up there, it's really difficult to say. I know Reinders isn't racing today, right?
Yeah, correct.
So we can't put him there, although I probably would at least bet him for a top 5 if he manages to get a clean race again. I'm a bit... There are like 2 wildcards for me in terms of who I would put up there. I know Dustin wasn't really up there in Barcelona, but I know he's generally quick. So for me, looking from the outside, it's difficult to tell if you don't match with the car Dustin or was it just a track issue. But I would tend to like bet at least on a top 5 from Dustin. Maybe a podium as well. And then Runelink is a big wild card as well. Because I've never raced against him, but apparently he's really fast. And I'm looking at the leaderboards. He is fairly close to me. Like I actually specifically checked the leaderboard a few minutes ago. So I'm not sure what to think about his pace as well. But looking at the lap times and looking at the overall name he has made for himself, I think you shouldn't discount him. So probably a top 5 as well. And then for the top 3, hopefully I want to see myself there if things go right this time. And probably the 2 Lotus boys, Dikra and Domschka. Because their pace is just good basically every race. At least good. Sometimes it's just phenomenal. And they... Well, if it wasn't for Domschka messing up the strategy on the safety car and then spinning later on, which was probably partially caused by the old tires he was on, he would have been... Yeah, that would have been a P3 for him in the last race, even with the messed up tires on the SC, where he didn't take them. So he definitely has the pace. Dikra also has the pace, so if he doesn't have a massive problem somewhere along the way, he should be up there. And myself is just a bit of wishful thinking. Although I want to say we probably shouldn't discount Sorrow as well, FPL Sorrow, because he was at least on the pace to stay in a good position once he got himself there at Barcelona. So I think if he manages to get himself up there at some stage of the race, he could probably also keep up with everyone else well enough to stay high up.
Okay, interesting. You did mention Runelink a moment ago. We'll talk about him, but first I have a question from the chat. From Gerald, your teammate Dustin. He's asking you specifically, do you still believe in the Constructors' Championship after Barcelona?
Definitely. We have won it 2 seasons in a row, and we have a German saying that all good things are free. So I want to win it.
Yeah, not giving up, even though the Lotus boys look incredibly fast, both Dustin and the Crow. Oh, sorry, the Domschka and the Crow. Yeah, so you still fully believe in Gerald, doesn't need to worry.
No, we are definitely a good team. I think from working together, the best team really is Lotus, because they know each other in real life and practice multiple times a week for the races. They have practiced like an hour ago together in a long run, and also a few days ago. And so we work really, really well. And my time is a bit more complicated to spend for sim racing, and that's the same for Jared. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Next then, Statue already briefly mentioned it, but we are getting a return from the very first Grand Prix Classics champion, Runelink. Back in the day, I still drove. Likely, I have to add, I did hear he had a little bit of a cold, so but I think he's still on, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, Dustin, you have driven with him, and I'm not sure about JJ. Have you driven with Runelink?
Yes, for me, I think it was 2 seasons ago when I was driving against him. Not really against him because I don't have the pace, but on the same track.
Okay. What should we expect from Runelink from your perspective?
From my perspective, I think he's a really fast guy, and if he managed to stay to continue on this season, I think he's one of the guys who could take the driver championship. Don't forgetting about Dikra again, Geralt. I think Geralt um, is a really constant driver, and with Dustin they make a very good team. Of course, the constructor championship will be for him or for Lotus guys. And talking again about Runelink, I think if he managed to stay in every single race from this race to the finish, I think he could be one of the drivers champion.
Okay, very interesting. Dustin, do you agree with that analysis?
Totally. I mean, before Alan came in season 2, I thought that Runelink was the best Formula 1 driver we have in A-Mans 2. Because I'm looking it up right now. He even won our first ever GPC race. So, yeah. He is definitely one of the best. He said himself, he may be a bit rusted because he hasn't driven in a year, but looking at the time trial boards, he's just 3/10 off from Statue, so maybe not so rusted anymore. So he would definitely be a danger to any driver.
Yeah, for sure. I was actually there when he drove that time in Canada. I tried to convince him to come back, and he actually didn't even replace his wheelbase. He fixed it, which is incredible. Um, and yeah, he said the time in about half an hour of driving. He thought there was more in it, but it's Canada is a tough track to time trial sometimes. Every chicane is a bit of uh, an attempt, and you try to go through it as fast as you can for those kinds of things. So yeah, that should be interesting. I'm noticing in the chat that Edward says he is ill, so he's not going to drive. That would be a big shame. And get well soon.
He's saying he will drive, but he is still
Yeah, okay. He's saying it in German,
yeah.
No, okay, very good. He will still drive, but he will be a bit ill, and hopefully he will get some points while being ill. So that's a goal. Then I want to quickly think about the championship. We are only one race in, so everything is still up for grabs, obviously. Currently, we do have a very strong top two in constructors, and the drivers. Well, we have, I think, 6 people that were driving on top there. Last time, everybody predicted Statue to win the championship. Do we still believe that? I want to start with Dustin, because you were one of the people that made that prediction. Do you still think Statue is a clear favorite, or do you think there's other people that are a favorite now, or is it much more nuanced than that?
Generally, yes. But the question gets more difficult after the first race, actually, because I think no one has expected runners to win the race from pole position. Even though Dicker was close behind, but no one saw it coming. So we might have a new sort of favorite for the championship, but also Steph remains the main favorite for the championship. You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
very, very hard to say after the first race, especially when I see the race of Domschka. Like Statue said, he could have been P3 maybe. He finished in P5 or P6 with the fastest lap. Um, yeah, nobody from last season thought he will finish that bad in the first race of a new season. So every race has its own story, and what I say now may be complete bullshit by the time next week. So it's very, very hard to say.
JJ, you didn't make the prediction last time. Would you have made the same prediction last time? And how do you feel about it now?
Uh, from now on, um, I think, as I said before, the level of this championship, the drivers level, from this perspective, I think we could expect that every single point make the difference. And if you look at the other championship before that we had in this community, from the first race to the second is really difficult to get a good picture of that. So I will wait a little bit more to to rely on my previous prediction, but I think every single point will make the difference. And with these guys, we could expect a very tight championship. So maybe 5 or 6 drivers could get it, but it's really difficult to know who will be.
Yeah, no, it is very difficult, very tricky. And Statue, do you agree with that? Do you see yourself as the clear favorite, or is it maybe someone else that you think you should be worried about?
I don't see myself as a clear favorite, definitely. I do think I have a chance to get the championship. But it's obviously not easy, so I don't want to say like I'm a clear favorite because I'm not. I'm definitely not. Um, it's kind of difficult putting yourself as a prediction because I obviously know where my limits are, but it's difficult for me to tell how much faster and how much the other guys have left in them and how they react to different situations. Um, if I had to like bet money on someone, honestly, I would probably say Dikra, but it's not like a very high confidence thing in terms of making a prediction. Not necessarily because Dikra isn't a good driver, but just because there's so many good drivers in contention that it's difficult to just pick one. I need to. I don't know if Runelink is going to do more races in this championship, but if he shows up and wins the race by like 15 seconds, and I think he'd have to be in the conversation even after missing the first race, and potentially missing some further ones. Uh, but again, I'm just keen to see what he brings in terms of pace and strategy and overall race management, everything. Um, yeah, so I don't think there's like a single clear favorite. Hopefully, I think I am in that sort of region, skill wise and pace wise, to have a chance. But it's not like I will clearly win it if I just simply drive decent races because the races need to be good to be won from anyone.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Now we're nearly reaching the end of this press conference, but before we fully end it, I want to urge the chat one more time. If you have any questions, now is absolutely the time to ask them. Before we sign it off, just at least 2 more things. First of all, based on what was just said, and as you hinted towards it, we have a very competitive grid right now. I want your opinion on the statement. Is the SSR Grand Prix Classics Championship grid, as we have it, the most competitive grid in AMS2 racing? Yes or no, Statue?
Can I do no, but with an asterisk? Or actually, no, I don't even think I can put a yes or no.
Explain.
I'm gonna give a diplomatic answer and say, like, officially it depends. Because I think when it comes to Formula racing, then it's definitely the most competitive grid I've ever seen anywhere. But in terms of overall skill level, I think the Community Cup that we race with some of the guys from our community, which is many communities putting their best drivers forward to race on very varied combos. I think there is a good argument that that could be the best grid, like in terms of racing variety of things on variety of tracks. But when it comes to specifically Formula racing, then I don't think you could make a much stronger grid than we already have in SSR. You could poach a few drivers, but they don't drive consistently on the same grid to like make an argument that there is a better grid somewhere. I don't think our grid is the strongest it can be, but it's definitely close to that when it comes to Formula racing.
Okay, JJ?
Absolutely. I think SSR community or SSR grid from the perspective the formula driving. I think we have if not the best, I think one of the best, and we are looking to say to see them all together on the same grid. That's the point. As Statue said, you could pick a lot of single drivers from all over the world, but constantly driving on a community on the same championship is difficult to see these numbers of good drivers at the same time on the same community. So we are lucky to see them all together. And I want to say just a mention to a guy that I think is, if not the best driver that I've seen in my whole life, I think is one of them, is Alan Frey. Alan Frey is, I think, the most I miss him the most. So he's a very, very good driver, and it's a shame that he cannot drive here this season. But I think is the best one. So maybe we cross a finger to have him from the next one. But the guys here has the potential to fight with him. So I think that we are lucky again.
Brilliant. And Dustin?
I very much agree with both. First of the Community Cup we are racing in, we almost won that last season by a few points, and I think I missed out on the championship by 1 or 2 points. But when you have a GT3 championship, for example, the GT3 drivers will be faster in GT3s than we as Formula 1 drivers, mostly. For example, last season of Community Cup or last year, we won both Formula 1 races with double wins and 4 drivers each in every race, and all of us were each time in the top 5. So I would say yes, we have the strongest Formula 1 drivers in our championship. But if we would drive anything else, we might get weaker, but not so much. We still would be up there. Yeah, that's about it for the Community Cup, for example. But we show every time that we are very strong and that we should always be on the list to win the race or be on the podium at least. And from the thing that JJ said in terms of best driver with Alan, I very much agree with him because he was always very fast, had very good setups, and actually yesterday after Runelink texted me if we can race, I immediately texted Alan if we also want to race because he also raced with Runelink, but sadly he won't. But I really hope he will return one day. So yeah, this would be very cool.
Yes, indeed. I fully agree with that. All right. I see no more questions from the chat. If there's anything that you haven't got the chance to talk about, but you did want to say, this is your last chance. We'll go from left to right. Dustin?
I don't have anything more to say. I really hope the race today would be really cool. It might have lots of mistakes, so I really hope none of them will be visible, no safety car. So I really hope everyone will enjoy the race, also on the stream. So yeah, let's see about that.
JJ?
I hope that all the drivers will enjoy this race, and we could have a clean one. And the viewers of the retransmission will enjoy, I'm sure. And if you're watching this and you want to participate, don't hesitate. Here you have a very, very good community. And if you have the time and you want to try, but you are a beginner, forget it. You can do it. If I'm doing it, everyone can do it. So I start from zero, and these people teach me a lot. So if anyone want to enjoy, don't hesitate it, and don't think that you don't have the level, because you will get it. So I think we will enjoy all together, the viewers and the drivers of this race.
Yes, and for anybody that does want to join and what is watching on Twitch right now or is watching on YouTube, in Twitch the link is currently in chat, and on YouTube the link will be in the description. And finally, Statue, do you have anything to add?
I have a bit of an off-topic question to Dustin, if it's appropriate.
Go ahead.
I mean, we touched on both parts of the question, so I want to ask it if possible. Because Alan didn't take part in the previous championship we had here in SSR, but he still joined for 2 F1 rounds in the Community Cup. Is there a chance he'll still join for the Adelaide round this season, or have you not talked to him about that yet?
I have talked to him, and he said he won't race on Community Cup this year, but maybe I can convince him otherwise. If I tell him it's Swiss Combo in Adelaide, it may be good around there. I will try my best.
It would be helpful to have him, but I don't want you to like super pressure him into doing it. But if he's convinced by the car selection and track selection, then I'd be happy to see him again.
Me too.
I find it really beautiful that we have so much love for this community and for racing competitively, that Statue is trying to actively sabotage his own championship by asking Alan Fry to join. I think that's beautiful.
Now that was for the Community Cup. That's
Oh,
for
the
the
Community Cup, okay.
championship we're doing
Oh, you don't want
against
him.
other championships.
You don't want him to join the championship.
No, I wouldn't be against it, but I wouldn't be. Actually, no. I would still want him to join, because then if I still manage to get a good result, it would be over a better grid. So.
Okay.
In that sense, it would still be beneficial for me to race against him.
Of course. All right, interesting, and thank you very much. I see no more questions in the chat, so we're gonna call it for today. Thank you so much for joining, Dustin, JJ, and Statue. Good luck in the race later today. Race, of course, starts at 7, which is about 4.5 hours from now. So yeah, time for them to prepare and time for everybody viewing this to put it in the calendar and join us later today. Thank you so very much, and yeah, see you later.
See you later. Looking forward to it.
Bye. It was a
Bye.
pleasure. It was a pleasure to talk to you guys.